What's going on, guys? Welcome to another one of Black Iron's battles. Today we have a 1 versus 1 Total War Warhammer quick battle for you. And I wanted to show it to you, even though it's kind of short, I wanted to show it to you because it really does focus on how important it is to take out the Greenskin leadership. So if you look over here, we are using the Beastmen army and we're facing off against the Greenskins. And you'll see on the right, I have got these two groups of Chaos Warhounds. Now they do have poison. They've got 95 speed, and so these things are my only real mobile units I've brought, and hopefully I was going to be able to chase down any units they may have or get into the back into some goblin firing lines. I definitely wanted to have at least a little bit of mobility with my Beastmen army. Here in the front, you'll see I've brought 4 groups of Brayherd. This is where a lot of my gold went. These are huge, expensive units. 42 armor piercing weapon strength. They've got 100 armor, and they are just the heavy hitters of the Beastmen army. Now, if you look over here on the left, we have got a Gorble, who's also a big hitter. I mean, he's got 420 weapon strength, and I have stripped him down a little bit to get the cost down on him, and that was so I could afford this giant. I mean, this giant is a big boy. Look at him. He is got 530 weapon strength, and he'll just be able to do huge hits on any sort of single units. If they have single models, low model units, that's who you want to put your giant on. Over here on each flank, we've got these Ungor Spearmen herd. They do have anti-large. They've got charge defense against large, so they're just to really hold the flanks or try to flank the enemy depending on how wide his army is. Here we've got Morgur. You see I've brought the Staff of Ruinous Corruption. That allows me to summon 2 groups of Chaos Spawn simultaneously if you time it right, and that is just a huge amount of power that you can get from those 2 regular Cygor summon plus the one from the staff. And if you look here in the back, we do have Ungor Raiders. Have to bring some ranged units. I figure if they've got a giant or something really large, we can use those Raiders to fire in. Here in the back, we have got a 3rd group of Ungor Spearmen. I have frequently left my firing line unguarded lately, and so I'm trying to do my best to bring some extra stuff to block them, and that was about the amount of money I had left, so I just piled it all in these Ungor Spearmen. Here in the back, you'll see we've got Devolve, and we've got a Summon Cygor on this Bray Shaman, and that pretty much wraps it up for my army. Now over here for my opponent, you'll see that he has started off right next to me with these 2 groups of Goblin Wolf Rider Archers. They're fast, but they're not going to do a ton of damage. And if they get caught by those Chaos Warhounds, the Chaos Warhounds are a little bit faster, so there's not, it is definitely scary for them to be that close right off the bat. Here for my opponent's army, you'll see it is led by an Orc War Boss, and it is on a boar. So he is now a cavalry unit. He is large. And he's got 450 weapon strength. He's got a ton of charge bonus. But if you look, he's only brought the potion of toughness, which is very scary. If you break, the potion stops working. So a lot of the time, people bring the potion of foolhardiness also. Also, you see he's brought an Orc Shaman, which is stripped down. He does have Here We Go, Foot of Gork. And so he is going to be able to, do some buffs. Between the Waaaagh and the Here We Go, he's able to do a ton of melee attack buffs. Which he may use on these Boar Boy Biggins. Orc Boar Boy Biggins. They are anti-large or shock cavalry. They are, I'm sure, hoping to get in my back lines and take out a ton of my units. As well, he's got these front line of Black Orcs, which I'm sure this is where he put the majority of his money. These are the elite infantry. He's got 5 Black Orcs, so I am lucky that I brought a lot of armor piercing on my side. Lucky for him, those Black Orcs are immune to psychology, so the Chaos Giant won't, or I'm sorry, the Beastman, well, yeah, he is a Chaos Giant, but his terror won't be as effective against their front line. He does have these 2 groups of Biggins. It looks like he put a chevron in them. They're on the flanks. And he's got some Orc boys, some regular boys, and that rounds off his army. So this is a really good one. We'll just go ahead and press play and watch where it goes. Right off the bat, you'll see over here, we do start to engage these 2 flanking units, these 2 wing units. So we do have the Chaos Warhounds coming in, and they are going to start immediately taking shots from those Wolf Rider Archers. They haven't taken, oh, there goes the model loss, so they are going to take some hits. But you see these units are moving left and right. I mean, if these Warhounds catch them, these guys are going to be in for some major trouble. Over here on the left, you'll see that we are pretty much just marching straight forward. We've got very similar army widths. And so, you know, since these units are very, very similar, they're going to be lined head up to head up, and it'll really be, he's hoping his buffs will do it, and I'm hoping that my giant will do it, and we'll see who's able to take this off. We have caught this group of Goblin Wolf Rider archers over there, so they are going to go down. The second group is about to be caught as well, so they're probably going to be taken right off the edge of that field. Here in the front lines, you will see that these lines have engaged. This Bestigor herd's already down to half health. These units are going down quick. I mean, look at these group of Bestigor herd. That charge from him was huge, especially with him having already popped. Here we go. He is able to do just significant damage, but luckily I have managed to get... Oh, look at that. He has already had to use his potion of toughness. There is a ton of arrows firing in on these Black Orcs. And I mean, he has had to get right out of there. And this giant is fast on his trail. But if you look here in the back, oh my god, these are going to get... I did it again. I pulled these Ungor Spearmen over here to try to block off the Boar Boys, but I mean, they were able to get here into these lines of archers. So you see these Boar Boys are going to make a short work of these Ungor Raiders. I mean, these are going to start going down, and even though they're getting shots off, they're not going to be left in this game for much longer. I've definitely got to escape this Bray Shaman out of there, or do something to keep him from also going down right away. Here in the back, you'll see, I mean, the Bestigors have started already to get broken off. This Bestigor herd is really low, but we have done some good damage to these Black Orcs also. Additionally, we've got the Gorbel on top of his Shaman. So, I mean, that is a huge amount of damage that this Gorbel is going to put. This Shaman's only got 30 armor. He's got low defense, and he is not going to be able to mitigate the damage that this Gorbel can do. Additionally, you'll see that we finally got this Chaos Giant to chase his War Boss off the field. And we have summoned a group of Chaos Spawn here. So since we've chased off those Wolf Rider archers, we're going to be able to start bringing these Chaos Hounds back in. And you'll also see that we have summoned this Cygor. So now this balance of power, because of this Cygor and this Chaos Spawn, I mean, we have just done a huge mid-level change. I mean, the Greenskin player probably thought that he was getting ready to win with all of my Bestigors being chased off here. You see they're almost all dead in the backs here. But I mean, I was able to summon this Cygor, who's already starting to get some kills. We were able to get this group of Chaos Spawn up, and oh, look at that! And I'm able to change another group of Black Orcs into Chaos Spawn. So that is the power of having those two Chaos Spawn summons ready simultaneously. If you get Morgar into battle early, you're definitely able to do that. If you look here, you'll see that, I mean, we have broken this Shaman off the field, and so the leadership that he brought is going to start taking heat in a hurry. So I immediately get the Giant onto the leadership again. I bring this Cygor in. We've got the Bray Shaman, and I mean, we are able to break off this Orc War Boss. I think if he hadn't used his potion so early, he may have been able to keep it in a little bit longer. But I mean, there was just such a significant swing of power with two groups of Chaos Spawn and a Cygor all being summoned. You know, once the enemy army was low on troops. Let's go ahead and take a look at that post-game wrap-up, which unfortunately never shows those Chaos Spawn and Cygor. I hope maybe in the future that'll be something they'll add. It'd be super cool to see, you know, those Chaos Spawn. I was able to bring them in the back line. I was able to summon them right in the midst of the enemy troops. So it'd be cool to see how many of them, you know, how much damage they were able to do. Over here for my opponent, Sparks, you'll see those Goblin Wolf Rider archers were able to kill just only about 10 of these Chaos Warhounds, and these Chaos Warhounds are still almost full health. These were chased right off, and that was just too bad for my opponent that we had them on the same side, because that was really helpful for me to avoid this harassing fire. Additionally, you'll see that the Bestigor herd, I mean, they did get 45 as the highest. We've got 40, 38 here, 38, 42. So I mean, we're actually pretty even. He was able to buff them up a little bit more than I had. I had more. I had Devolve and, you know, the Cygor summon, so I wasn't able to do quite as much buffing. And these units were able to cut them down pretty handily, although they did not go down without a fight. Here in the back, you'll see these Ungor Spearmen. I mean, they 4, 6, and 20. I mean, you bring them just to get in people's ways, to tar pit, to protect your flanks. And I mean, I think they were able to do a little bit of work. I think they definitely occupied some opponents. I did see one group of these biggins chasing a group of spearmen off, so that is definitely an expensive unit for a cheap one. So I mean, hopefully they were able to confuse my opponent and allow my elite units to get in there and do some damage. You see that giant? He was on this orc war boss the whole time. Between that and putting the Gorbel on the shaman, once these two units went down, even though there's still, I mean, 310 to 333 remaining, these greenskin units are always going to have a hard time if you decapitate their leadership. And putting your Gorbel on their caster, normally that'll limit his effectiveness pretty quickly. And I mean, overall, it was just a great game to my opponent's Sparks, and I really had a lot of fun. I want to thank you guys all so much for watching. Please subscribe below for more great online content. This has been Black Iron, and this has been another one of Black Iron's Battles.